What's going on, everybody? Dr. Rosie here with Rosie Physiotherapy, and today I'm going to talk about wrapping your knees up when you are doing lifts such as a back squat, a front squat, a barbell squat, maybe lunges, maybe every time you do a hang clean, a power snatch, a hanging snatch, any one of these sort of compound lifts that does end up putting a lot of pressure on that anterior or front portion of that knee can put a little bit of stress on that patellar and quadricep tendon in those knees, and you want to have a little bit of support, a little bit of wrapping to help provide that stability, that extra comfort zone to make you feel that you're not going to get injured during that lift. Now, I'm not referring to the sleeves where you just slide them up your leg. I'm referring to the wraps commonly used by power lifters and some CrossFitters. Most of them do use the sleeves, but mainly power lifters will be using these sleeves, or just otherwise fitness exercise enthusiasts do use these wrapped. I'm a big fan of the wraps. I know that they're not allowed to be used in like WPL or WAPL fitness centers or competitions, but with the exception of that, I do love using them. I think they're a great tool to protect them, to protect the person, the client, myself, but also allow for that increased boost to give you a little bit of bounce or a little bit of cushion off the bottom of that lift, and allows you that support where you don't feel that your knee is in that compromised position. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in, I'm going to show you a zoomed in angle of my knee, how to wrap them up, and then let's get started. One of the things I did want to add to this is that a lot of times I do see individuals, so if you have the knee wraps or sometimes even the arm wraps, I'll see a lot of people they'll do is they kind of tighten them up, keep them in a nice heavy ball like this, or kind of a cylinder kind of wrap when they're not using them. I actually don't recommend that. So I've used a different pair of wraps before, and after about a year they kind of fell apart because of the way I had them like this. Doesn't seem like much, but when it's in your gym bag, collecting all that heat, all of that cold between the seasons, sometimes it just loses that integrity of that stretch. Now these are the Inzer wraps. These I had the exact same ones before, and now these Inzer wraps, these however are over 10 years old, and they are in fantastic quality. So what I do is I actually don't leave them wrapped up like this. I don't leave them wrapped up like this until I'm about to put them on. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it up like this, fairly tight. Keep it out so the Inzer logo is on the outside. I'll use that as my placeholder to start, and then I'll wrap the knee. When I'm done, and I know that I'm going to do one more lift, when I'm between each set, I'll take them off, and then I'll re-roll them back up nice and comfortably. I don't roll them tight, and I'll show you how I roll them in just a second. But what I do is when I'm done using them, I actually just kind of grab the two lips together like this, and I just let them drop. At this point, so what I'm going to do is I just kind of keep these. As you can see, I don't have them, I'm not stretching them. That's where most people end up ruining them, and they lose their integrity over time. I'm not pulling on them, I'm not giving an excessive stretch, just holding them nice and loose. And over here, I just kind of keep them together. And then I just keep folding them over until I have them folded at about this length. This is actually kind of the way that they were provided to me when I got them from the store, and I just kind of keep them in there like this. One of the things I do is I also have one of these hair ties back when I had long hair, and I just kind of wrap them around here, double wrap them, and that's it. I've had these guys wrapped up, and these have been, I think they're about 12 years old, and they still have many, many decades left into them, as long as you keep, take care of your stuff and make them last for a long time. But, like I said, when I'm ready to use them for the first time, I get them out of my gym bag just like that. I take the covers off, I take the wrap off, and then I just separate them. So at this point, I just kind of throw one over my shoulder almost every single time, or I'll throw it on the bag. So what I always do is, I know me personally, just the way I kind of do it, I always have it so that the logo is going to end up on the outside, and so I have to start on the same side. Now make sure when you're wrapping it up, it's nice and smooth, it's not twisted halfway through. And you can see over the years, I'm getting a little bit of this curl because of this, but again, after 10 years, I really don't care. What I do at this point is I hold it loose, whoops. From here, you can see I'm not putting tight, like I've seen a lot of people, they kind of do it like this. They'll kind of get it started, and then they'll pull really, really tight. And then they'll pull really, really tight. And then they'll pull really, really tight. No, you don't want to do that. You just want to roll it up nice and gently. What I'm doing, the only tension that's on it is just gravity. I'm not lifting it. I'm literally just rolling it nice and tight with my fingers. Now, I don't need it to be perfect, so I just kind of, once you get used to it, I just kind of roll it like this. Every once in a while, it gets a little messed up, so I just kind of give it a little pounding on the side, kind of get everything back in line. And that's it. That's my roll. And then I get on and I do it with the next one. Find my end. After a couple years, it's got a little bit of a curl, so I know which way to do it. And now we just roll it up. Nothing fancy about it. No pulling it, not getting it extra tight, extra taut. I don't want to lose the integrity of these bands. I want them to last over time, and that's it. I set them over there. I get them on the bench that I'm going to put my body on, my butt on, so that I could take some pressure off of my knees so that I can put them on properly. So let's see how to put them on now. All right, everybody, so I'm going to show you how to put on knee wraps. So what you're going to do is you need to put on, get out of here, Sophie. So what you need to do is you need to kind of separate your weight. So when I put the right one on, I need to make sure that my knee is extended, it's relaxed. I'm not like flexing my knee or anything. I want it nice and relaxed. And a lot of my weight is going to be on my butt, but also all of it's going to be leaning towards that left side, taking weight off of that. I want this muscle to be as relaxed as possible. And what I want to start with is I have this rolled, and so I'm going to roll towards the outside of my knee. I'm going to constantly be rolling to the outside. And so I'm always going to start, and I'm going to have my placeholder on that inside of that inner thigh on that knee, right between the knee joint line. So I'm going to put this guy right in here, hold it with my thumb. My other hand is going to wrap basically straight across the knee in a nice horizontal fashion. I switch my hands, and now I have my placeholder there, and now I have made one full circle. I've made one lap. Now I'm going to put my thumb, my left thumb, back on, and I'm going to angle downward, and then downward from the right side, and then I'm going to come back up on the left from the downward facing up, kind of in an X pattern, going down this way. On the back end, I'm going to flip, and I'm going to come back up. Now from here, I'm angling from the back, slightly going to be going up in this upward fashion every time until I run out of thread. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that layer just underneath the top layer. I'm going to hold it up, and then I'm going to tuck the remaining piece in that front. I'm just going to pull nice and tight, and now I've got my band. So pro tip, anytime you're doing any bracing or bandaging like this, you always want to make sure that it terminates in front of the body. So, see how this is in front of my knee. That is, if you need to immediately rip it off, you just pull this guy out and you're done. You never want to terminate back behind the body, whether it's a shoulder, back, anything. It doesn't, not just the knees. Anytime you want to terminate wherever you run out of bandage or you're wrapping, you always want to make sure it's in the front. It's easily accessible that you can take it off on your own. So that is going to be the second one. And now I'm going to show you the other leg. So now I bend the knee, and so that's a bad fill because I actually don't want to be able to see any skin when I bend that knee. So we're actually just going to take this guy off, and we're going to do it again. So we're going to use this band. Had this one ready for the other leg. So again, right in the middle, one full lap. Okay, anytime you cross a layer, you don't want to cover more than half, or you don't want to be more than half exposed. Cover the back of the knee. Now I'm going to start heading upward, going about half overlapping every time. Again, I want to terminate in that front. Grab that portion just under the superficial layer. There we go. Tuck it underneath. And now I've got my knee sleeve. Okay, or now I have my knee wrap. Now I'm going to roll this guy up, and I'm going to show you how to do it on the other side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the left. We did the right side, now we're going to do the left. So the exact opposite. You want to make that leg nice and loose, putting my body weight back on my booty, and then I've got my wrap. It's rolled up, not tight, so it's nice and loose, just rolled up in a nice circular fashion. Same thing, I'm going to start with my thumb, my placeholder, going to be in that mid-joint line of that knee, and I'm going to make just one full lap around, not really putting a lot of tension on the band, but not making it too slack either. Now I'm going to start heading in the downward direction. On the back of the leg, that popliteal fossa, I'm now going to start heading in the opposite. I'm going to head up into an X pattern. Now at this point, I'm just crossing around 50% overlapping, and I'm going to go up until I run out of the wrap. Now I know that I'm not going to make another lap. Like I said, you do want to terminate in the front of the knee, so I'm just going to take this portion, lift it up, and I get to tuck the tail underneath. Some people like to have it tucked like that. I like it like this, so I can just give it a nice tug, and there we go. We've got ourselves a nice tight knee wrap which we are going to do to protect those knees, protect that patellofemoral joint, protect that patellar tendon and quadricep tendon to prevent any injuries while doing squatting or any other, compound lifting. Now, one of the benefits of this style banding too is, like I said, what I like to do is when I'm done with them, I just kind of take it off, pull the thread out, and then I just wrap my leg out or unwrap it, and there we go. Now, one thing I will say is every single time you wrap your leg or every single time you are done with the exercise, I always unwrap it. Every single time I will rewrap it, which is good for practice, but it's also good to have that, we want to encourage good, healthy, blood circulation between those exercises. We have a big oxygen deficit in our muscles when we're exercising, and we want to replenish those stores, and that way we can have, that we can facilitate tissue healing and that exercise graded response.